There's a specific kind of peace I find from cleaning and organizing. It feels like a fresh start. I cleaned off my palettes earlier this month and it felt like I needed something a little bit more than just wiping off the palettes with the dried mixes. I've always viewed my palette as an ongoing evolution. It has changed over time and it's always a snapshot of what I'm currently learning, what I've experienced thus far, and how my eye is changing in terms of how I see color. It isn't really about finding the perfect palette. I don't think that there really is one. I think it's just about finding what feels right in this current season and reflecting what I've learned so far. You could see how I've documented some of my past palettes before. I'll link them below in the description box, and I'll also put the last one I did here from 2024 in the corner. If you take a look at any of those past palettes or you are familiar with how I do these, I always map out my palettes in a palette chart. So it's like a little legend for all the colors that I've used and where they're located on the palette. I think it's a habit that has actually proved itself very useful because I'll often refer back to this little legend if I forget what colors I actually have in my palette, and it's also been a really nice way to document how they have evolved over time. So as I'm swatching this palette chart, I'm going to point out a mistake I made because you'll probably notice it. If you have seen the video of how I organize my palette and how I like to keep the colors in a certain order, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link it for you. But if you've seen it, you'll know that I like to keep the earth colors together, and you're going to notice that the earth colors in this one are separated. And that's because I added a lemon yellow, or rather it's called Hansa Yellow Light, into my palette that wasn't there before as part of this refresh. And I accidentally put it in the space of the yellow ochre. And then when I realized it was already too late and I didn't want to waste the paint and I didn't want to move it around. So now my yellow ochre and my burnt sienna are separated from each other. And that's just how it's going to be. It's probably going to bother me until I can actually maybe switch it around if I finish those colors in those wells. But you know, I guess I just have to embrace the imperfections of a working palette. So speaking of yellow ochre and lemon yellow, these two are things that have switched a bit in my palette, and lemon yellow is a new addition to this current palette because I didn't have it before. I was really looking for that cooler, brighter yellow for mixes, and then my yellow ochre is new. It used to be a Monte Amiata natural sienna, and it got taken out of my palette because I wanted to switch it for this, and that's why this mix-up happened. But the yellow ochre that I got from Holbein just felt a little bit warmer, and I was getting really beautiful brown mixes with it, so I wanted to keep that on and use that instead of the natural sienna. It's a subtle shift, but I feel like I just wanted to try something a little bit different than the Monte Amiata natural sienna, which is still a beautiful color. And then somewhere between my last palette refresh and this one, a cobalt turquoise found its way into it. And so I wanted to keep it on, and now it kind of has a permanent home in this current palette. And I think it's a really interesting color to add. I think I saw another artist using it, so I wanted to just keep it on and keep experimenting with it. Probably the most significant addition to this current palette is purple. I have never had a purple in my palette, but I recently picked up dioxazine purple after doing a lot of reading on handprint.com, and I recently was swatching it, and it is such a great tool. I love what it can do as a neutralizer. So for example, when I was doing Artful August last year, I actually mixed dioxazine purple with yellow ochre, and it made these really beautiful browns. And I recently have been playing around with greens as a exercise to deep dive into green mixing for the Paint With Me community. And phthalo green can be neutralized so beautifully with dioxazine purple. It makes these really beautiful navies, blue violets, and sea greens, and it's such an amazing color as a tool. So I wanted to add it into my palette just to see what happens if I have it on hand to use. So as you can see throughout these years, my palette has continued to evolve and change. I'm continuing to learn stuff. I'm continuing to explore and be curious about what certain colors will do. And I don't always have an answer to why I have a certain color in my palette. It's really just curiosity. And I think at the end of the day, a palette is really just a reflection for where your own curiosity is taking you. I think it's okay to change your mind about colors. It's okay to put a color in and then decide you don't like it. And I think it's okay to try a color like me just because you are curious to see what it does and how it plays with the rest of your palette. I think it's also okay not to have a 17 color palette like I have, or a 32 color palette like somebody else has. If you work better with a limited palette, if you like having less colors because it's less overwhelming, that is also really important to respect and to acknowledge for yourself. I think we all work differently and we're all curious in a different way, and we all have a different creative process, and there's no right answer. I'd love to know what color or colors you've recently added to your setup or colors you're thinking about adding. And what would also be really interesting for me to know is how big your palette is. How many colors do you like to work with? Let me know in the comments below this video. Thank you for spending a little bit of time today with me at my painting desk. I'll see you in the next video.